Welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're taking a look at YouTube, but with a bit of a twist. We're going to be talking about the reality of starting a channel a little later in life,
Mm,
after 60 to be exact.
okay.
And the inspiration for this deep dive is a YouTube video titled How This 62-Year-Old Monetized Her Channel in 5 Weeks,
Wow.
from the channel Small Retired Life. It's made by a YouTuber named Raina.
Okay.
And it's a pretty catchy title.
Yeah.
It got me thinking, can you really find that level of YouTube success that quickly, especially when starting, later in life? So let's find out.
It's certainly a bold claim, yeah.
Yeah.
And Raina's story is quite compelling, actually. She focuses her channel on retirement and simple living,
Okay.
a niche she felt was missing on YouTube.
Interesting.
So we'll dig into why she started, how she got monetized so fast, and even some of the costs and challenges she ran into along the way.
Oh, so yeah, let's unpack this. So Raina mentions a couple of reasons why she started her channel, and they're actually surprisingly relatable. Boredom in retirement was a big one. And she also wanted to challenge herself, keep her tech skills sharp, maybe even connect with other people in her age group.
Mhm.
But she's pretty upfront about the fact that a major motivator was earning extra income,
Yeah,
which, makes total sense.
that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about staying busy, but also staying financially secure, especially as people living longer and longer, facing rising costs, all that.
Mm.
Raina's story actually taps into this growing trend of seniors becoming more tech savvy and exploring ways to supplement their income.
Mm-hmm.
Some are even making content creation their primary source of income these days.
Wow, that's great. Now, going into this, Raina admits she had pretty low expectations. She was hoping to build a small community and maybe make an extra $100 or so a month.
Okay.
But here's where things get really interesting. Her channel took off way faster than she'd anticipated.
Really?
Yeah. So while starting with those, low expectations
Right.
might seem overly cautious, I think it's a smart strategy, right?
Absolutely. It allows you to experiment and find your voice without that pressure of immediate success. You
Yep.
know, it looks like in Raina's case, that relaxed approach might have actually contributed to her rapid growth.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. It's almost like taking the pressure off allowed her creativity to flourish.
Mm-hmm.
So after just 5 weeks on YouTube, her views suddenly skyrocketed. This is thanks to a couple of her videos.
Okay.
One was about simple living, which, fits perfectly within her niche.
Yeah.
But the other, and this is fascinating, was about her experience getting laid off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it seems like tapping into those really relatable experiences, even challenging ones, can resonate with an audience.
It's a great reminder that authenticity, often trumps perfectly polished content. People really connect with those real stories. And Raina's willingness to share such a personal experience likely struck a chord with a lot of viewers, particularly those who might be facing similar situations.
Yeah, it definitely makes you realize the power of vulnerability, right? Honesty.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about monetization.
Okay.
You need at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours just to be considered for YouTube's partner program,
Right.
which is what allows you to actually start making money from your channel.
Mm-hmm.
Raina hit these milestones in just 5 weeks.
That's incredibly fast.
I know.
I'm curious, do you think her age demographic, do you think that played a role in that?
Maybe.
Maybe there's a less saturated market for that kind of content aimed at older viewers.
Yeah, it's certainly possible.
It's easier to stand out.
Yeah. And to make things even more impressive, she received her first payout within 7 weeks of starting her channel.
Wow.
So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the process, let's break down how YouTube monetization actually works. So once you hit those subscriber and watch our requirements, you can apply to the YouTube Partner Program.
Hmm.
Then you have to set up an AdSense account, which is how Google keeps track of your earnings from ads that are displayed on your videos.
Right.
Then you have to, of course, fill out all the lovely tax forms from the IRS, even if you're not in the US. Then YouTube reviews your channel to make sure it meets all of their guidelines.
Right.
And once all of that is done and you've earned at least $100 in ad revenue, you have to verify your bank account.
Okay.
And then finally, you get paid.
So it's a multi-step process, but
Yeah.
it really highlights that YouTube is a business, not just a hobby, especially aiming to generate income.
Yeah.
You got to be organized, detail-oriented, and patient, navigate all those logistical hurdles.
Totally. And even with Raina's pretty quick success, she had to exercise some patience. Remember good old snail mail?
Yep.
So YouTube sends you a PI number in the actual mail to
Right.
verify your address. And she mentions it can take weeks to arrive. So even in this really fast-paced digital world, sometimes you just have to wait for the postman.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, her first payout was pretty impressive, $247 for just her first day of monetization.
Wow.
But she was already starting to notice that the revenue from newer videos was slowing down, which led her to project about $4,800 in earnings for October. Now, that's still a really great number.
Yeah.
But it does raise the question, is that initial surge sustainable?
Yeah, that's a good point to consider. Early success, especially from, viral content, can be a bit of a double-edged sword. It's fantastic for momentum,
Mm,
but it can create unrealistic expectations.
right.
What's more important is understanding the why behind the success.
Yeah.
Was it just a fluke, or was there something about her content or strategy that really resonated?
Right. Analyzing that initial success is crucial for that long-term growth. Now, Raina actually has a few theories about why her channel took off so quickly. First, she believes there's a lack of content specifically for people in their 50s and 60s.
Interesting. I would argue, though, that maybe it's not a lack of content. Maybe it's more of a discoverability issue.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there's content out there, but it's not reaching its intended audience due to algorithm limitations or ineffective marketing.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective. So it could be that the content exists, but it's kind of getting lost in that vast sea of YouTube videos.
Exactly.
Okay. Her second theory is that viewers are drawn to kind of normal people on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
They connect with that authenticity and the idea that anybody can create content.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. There's a certain appeal to seeing someone like yourself, especially when you're in a demographic that's often overlooked in mainstream media,
Right.
achieve success online.
Yeah.
It's relatable, inspiring, and it breaks down those barriers of, I could never do that.
Yeah, it's almost like watching your neighbor win the lottery, You think, well, if they can do it, maybe I can too. And her third theory is a simple one, Blick. She acknowledges that YouTube's algorithm and, the potential for a video to go viral definitely plays a role in success.
Sure. But while luck definitely plays a part, I think it's often overstated. Yes, the algorithm can be fickle,
Yeah.
but there are strategic choices that creators can make to actually increase their visibility.
Okay.
Things like optimizing video titles and descriptions, using relevant keywords, and creating really eye-catching thumbnails all contribute to how the algorithm ranks and recommends your content.
So it's not just about throwing something up on YouTube and hoping for the best. There's a level of strategy involved,
Yeah,
even if luck does give you that extra push sometimes.
for sure.
So let's talk about the practical side of things, like the equipment and resources you actually need to make YouTube content. Rena started with a pretty basic setup, a Sony ZV-1 camera, a tripod, and a Rode wireless microphone.
Okay, that's a good starting point, and it reinforces that you don't need to break the bank to get started. A lot of successful YouTubers actually started with very simple setups
Oh, wow.
and gradually upgraded as their channels grew. It's more about the content in your message than having the latest, greatest, most expensive equipment.
Right, it's all about the content. Raina stresses that her initial investment was actually quite low. She did have to go out and buy a dedicated microphone for better audio, which is something she recommends doing very early on.
Yeah, audio is often overlooked,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just as important as video quality.
Yeah,
Poor audio can be really distracting for viewers
totally.
and make it difficult to engage with your content.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a really worthwhile investment, even if you start with a more budget-friendly option.
Okay. She also mentions using her iPhone for some filming, but she found that it had its limitations.
Oh, yeah.
It tended to overheat, especially when recording those longer videos, which kind of disrupted her workflow.
That's a common challenge with smartphones.
Yeah.
While they're great for quick videos, vlogging, that sort of thing,
Right.
they're not always ideal for those longer, more professional-looking content. Dedicated cameras tend to have better cooling systems and allow for more control over those settings, like focus and exposure.
Makes sense. For editing, Raina initially used the free version of CapCut,
Okay.
but eventually upgraded to the Pro version for its more advanced audio editing features.
Sure.
Which is, again, a great reminder that as you learn and grow as a creator, your needs will evolve, and you might need to invest in more sophisticated tools to kind of achieve that quality you're aiming for.
It's all about finding the right balance for your budget and your goals.
Hmm.
There are fantastic free tools available, but as your channel expands, investing in that paid software can streamline your workflow and,
Hmm.
give you access to those more powerful features.
Totally. And speaking of investing, that actually brings us to what Raina calls inconvenient truths. These are the things that you don't always hear about when people say, start a YouTube channel.
Right. Yeah.
The biggest one, the time commitment.
Yeah.
Raina estimates spending about 30 hours a week on her channel.
Wow, that's almost like a part-time job.
It is. And that's why it's so important to actually consider YouTube as a business, especially if you're looking to make a living from it.
Yeah.
It's not just about creating those videos, it's also about all the behind-the-scenes work that goes into building a successful channel.
Right.
Right. So she breaks down her time as filming, editing, which can be very time consuming, and then administrative tasks like, tracking her expenses, responding to comments, and staying up to date on all those latest YouTube trends and changes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's a constant learning process,
It is.
and it requires dedication and discipline,
Yeah.
especially when you factor in that potential for burnout.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement, but it's so essential to create a sustainable workflow,
Yeah.
you know?
Allows for downtime, prevents you from feeling overwhelmed.
Right. So what we're seeing here is that while her journey might seem like, an overnight success,
Right.
it's actually the result of hard work, strategic thinking, and a willingness to adapt and learn.
Yeah.
She's not just posting videos, she's building a brand, cultivating a community, and treating her channel like a legitimate business.
I think that's a crucial takeaway for anyone considering starting a YouTube channel, no matter their age.
Yeah.
It can be a fantastic creative outlet, a way to connect with others, and potentially even a source of income.
Hmm.
But it does require commitment, a willingness to invest both your time and your money,
Hmm.
and a realistic understanding of those challenges involved.
So far we've covered a lot about Raina's journey, from her initial motivations, her surprisingly rapid monetization, to those hidden costs and the time commitment involved in running a successful channel.
Yeah.
But there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to address, and that's the impact of sponsorships. That's right. Sponsorships are a major part of the YouTube ecosystem, and they do raise some important questions about ethics, authenticity, and that relationship between creators and their audience.
Definitely. So yeah, let's dive a little deeper into this world of sponsorships.
Okay.
I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on how they play out, especially from both the creators and the viewers' perspective.
Yeah, it's a really complex landscape,
Mm-hmm.
and Raina's story actually offers some valuable insights into this.
Yeah.
For creators, especially those who are, looking to make YouTube a significant part of their income,
Right.
sponsorships can be a real game changer.
Yeah.
They can provide a more stable and predictable revenue stream
Okay.
compared to relying solely on just ad revenue, which can fluctuate wildly,
Totally.
up and down.
Yeah. And Raina mentions that she's been getting a lot of outreach from different brands who want to partner with her.
Oh, wow.
But she's being very selective about who she works with. She's really determined to stay authentic to her brand and only align with companies that genuinely fit her channel and her values. I think that's really important, don't you?
It absolutely is.
Mhm.
Viewers can often sense when a creator is genuinely enthusiastic about a product or service
Right.
versus just doing a paid promotion.
Yeah.
That authenticity, it's key to maintaining that trust
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and engagement with your audience.
And it speaks to her long-term vision for her channel too,
Yeah.
right? Like she's not just chasing that quick cash. She's
Right.
thinking about building a sustainable business and, and a loyal community.
Exactly.
That being said, I think from a viewer's perspective, sponsorships can sometimes feel a little intrusive. I mean, we're all used to that standard YouTube ad format,
Mhm.
but sponsored segments within a video can be a bit jarring, especially if they're not well integrated. What
Right.
do you think?
Yeah, you're right. It's all about finding that right balance.
Mhm.
Creators really need to be mindful of how they incorporate that sponsored content,
Yeah.
without disrupting the flow of their videos
Right.
or compromising the quality of their message.
Totally. Transparency is crucial too, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Clearly disclosing that a segment is sponsored really helps to maintain that trust
Right.
with the audience. And choosing sponsors that actually align with your content and your audience's interests makes those segments feel more organic, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Less like a sales pitch.
Exactly. When it's done well, sponsorships can almost feel like a natural extension of the content,
Yeah.
almost like a recommendation from a friend.
Right.
But when they're forced or irrelevant,
Mm-hmm.
they can actually damage that creator-viewer relationship.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, Raina specifically mentions wanting to partner with brands that would resonate with her older audience. She even talks about turning down some offers that she felt wouldn't be a good fit.
Hmm.
I really admire that she's sticking to her principles.
It's a smart move, both ethically and strategically.
Yeah.
By aligning with brands that genuinely appeal to her audience, she's much more likely to see positive results from those sponsorships, whether it's increased sales for the brand
Right.
or greater engagement from her viewers.
So it's not just about the money, it's about finding those win-win situations where, everybody benefits.
Exactly.
Now, shifting gears a bit, I want to talk about the social impact of Raina's YouTube journey.
Okay.
One thing that really stood out to me was how she talked about those positive connections she's made through comments and interactions with viewers.
Yeah, that's something that's often overlooked when we talk about social media,
Mm-hmm.
especially for older adults. Online platforms like YouTube, they can provide a sense of community and connection that might be missing in their offline lives.
It seems like she really cherishes those interactions.
Yeah.
She talks about how much she enjoys engaging with her viewers and how those connections have really enriched her life.
It's a powerful testament to the ability of these platforms to combat social isolation,
Mm-hmm.
which can be a really significant issue, especially for seniors.
Right.
And it's not just about finding people with shared interests, it's about feeling seen and heard, having platform to actually share your experiences and perspectives,
Right.
and realizing that you're not alone.
And of course, there's that adorable story about her grandson proudly telling everyone that his grandma is a YouTuber.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a heartwarming example of how these online endeavors can bridge generational gaps and create those shared experiences within families.
It's a beautiful illustration of how technology, when it's used thoughtfully,
Mm-hmm.
can foster that intergenerational connection and understanding.
Yeah.
Raina's channel becomes a point of pride, not just for her,
Right.
but for her entire family.
Mm-hmm.
It's something they can bond over and celebrate together.
It highlights those unexpected ripple effects of pursuing your passions,
Yeah.
even later in life. It's not just about you, it's about the people around you and
Right.
the inspiration that you might spark in them.
Exactly.
So, beyond the financial success and the social connections,
Hmm.
what other aspects of Raina's story do you find particularly impactful?
I think what resonates with me most is her willingness to embrace new challenges and just continuously learn. She's she's constantly pushing herself to improve her skills, whether it's filming, editing, or navigating the ever-changing world of YouTube.
Yeah.
It never stops.
It's like she's discovered this newfound sense of purpose and adventure. Retirement doesn't have to be about slowing down.
No.
It can be about exploring new horizons and expanding your capabilities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Raina's story really challenges those outdated notions of what it means to be older.
Yeah.
She's proving that age is just a number and that it's never too late to pursue your passions and embrace those new opportunities.
And speaking of opportunities, Raina has some pretty exciting goals for their channel.
Yeah.
She wants to keep growing her subscriber base, which is already pretty impressive. Continue improving her filming and editing skills, and eventually secure, a meaningful brand partnership that really aligns with her values.
Yeah, those are great aspirations. And it's clear that she sees YouTube as this long-term project,
Yeah.
a journey of continuous growth and evolution.
Right.
She's not content to rest on her laurels.
Mm-hmm.
She's actively seeking out ways to expand her reach, refine her craft, and make a bigger impact.
And she's got her sights set on some equipment upgrades too.
Okay.
She mentions wanting to invest in a new computer, something that can handle those larger video files,
Yeah.
and a better camera to just improve that overall quality of her content.
That's a smart move. As her channel grows, so do the demands on her equipment.
Right.
Investing in those better tools can really enhance her production value, streamline her workflow,
Yeah.
and ultimately create a more enjoyable experience for her viewers.
Right. It's a clear sign that she's taking this seriously and that she's committed to, delivering that high quality content to her audience. But I think what I find most inspiring about this is that her goals aren't just focused on, just that financial gain
Right.
or achieving some arbitrary metric of success.
Yeah, it's about something deeper, something more fulfilling. It's about connecting with people,
Yeah.
sharing her passions,
Hmm.
and making a positive contribution to the world.
Yeah, it's a reminder that success on YouTube, or really in any creative endeavor,
Hmm.
is about so much more than just those numbers.
Yeah,
It's about the impact you make,
right.
the connections you forge, and really the joy you find in the process.
Absolutely.
Now, before we wrap up Raina's story, I want to turn the focus back to you, our
Yeah,
listener. Imagine yourself stepping into Raina's shoes, embarking on your own YouTube journey.
it's a great thought.
What unique perspective would you bring to the table?
Think about your passions, your expertise, those stories you feel compelled to share.
Mm-hmm.
What message do you want to convey to the world,
Right.
and what audience are you trying to reach?
It's pretty exciting to consider all of that, isn't
It
it?
is.
The possibilities are endless, and the
Yeah,
beauty of YouTube is that it gives anyone with a story to tell a platform to share it.
absolutely. And while Raina's story is certainly inspiring,
Mm.
it's important to remember that every YouTube journey is unique.
Yeah,
There's no one-size-fits-all approach to success.
right.
What matters most is finding your own voice,
Mm-hmm.
staying true to your vision,
Right.
and connecting with your audience authentically.
And remember, starting a YouTube channel doesn't have to be about, you know, becoming that next viral sensation or
Yeah.
achieving that overnight fame.
No, it can be about sharing your knowledge, expressing your creativity, building a community,
Mm.
or simply documenting your journey and connecting with like-minded individuals.
Yeah, it's about finding that sweet spot
Mm-hmm.
where your passion intersects with the needs and interests of your audience.
Exactly.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll be featuring your story on the deep dive.
That's a great thought.
Yeah.
But even if you never end up on our show,
Mhm.
the act of creating and sharing your story can be incredibly rewarding in itself.
Yeah, totally.
It's about pushing your own boundaries,
Right.
connecting with others, and making a positive contribution to the world,
Mhm.
one video at a time.
So if you're feeling inspired by Raina's story and want to learn more about her journey, we highly encourage you to go check out her YouTube channel, Small Retired Life.
Yeah.
You can find the link in our show notes.
And before we move on to our next deep dive,
Okay.
I want to ask you, our listener, what resonates most with you from Raina's experience? What surprised you,
Yeah.
challenged your assumptions, or
Yeah.
inspired you to think differently about the possibilities of YouTube,
Yeah.
regardless of your age?
It's amazing how much we can actually learn from other people's experiences, even if their path seems completely different from our own. Raina's story is a good example of that. It really underscores the idea that age doesn't have to define what we're capable of.
Right.
She turned what started as a way to deal with boredom into this really thriving YouTube channel
Hmm?
and even a source of income.
It is inspiring. What I find particularly inspiring is her mindset. She's not afraid to just embrace the unknown, experiment,
Yeah.
constantly learn new things. And that's a quality that serves us well no matter what age,
Mm-hmm.
but especially valuable as we get older and, we might be tempted to just stick with what's familiar.
Right. It's like she's tapped into this fountain of youth.
Yeah.
Not physically, but in her spirit and her approach to life. She's proving that retirement can be a time for reinvention
Yeah,
and rediscovering passions that we might have put aside for years.
absolutely. It's about shifting our perspective from, winding down to winding up for new adventures.
Right.
And YouTube, with its vast reach and, just all that diverse content,
Yeah.
offers a perfect platform for that.
And let's not forget that really heartwarming aspect of her story, the connections she's made with all those viewers,
Oh, yeah?
and the pride her grandson feels, in having a YouTuber for a grandma.
That story about her grandson, that
Yeah.
really got to me. It just reminds us that what we do, even online,
Yeah.
can have a ripple effect on those around us,
Right.
especially within our own families.
It's like she's created this intergenerational bridge, sharing her experiences and passions with a younger generation and, in turn, learning from their perspectives.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And it really highlights the power of online communities to foster genuine connections,
Mhm.
especially in this, increasingly digital world
Yeah.
where face-to-face interactions might be a little more limited these days.
So we've explored the motivations, the mechanics behind monetization, the unexpected costs, the importance of authenticity, the potential for sponsorships,
Yeah.
and that social impact of Raina's YouTube journey.
It's been quite a deep dive.
It has been.
And I think it's safe to say that Raina's story challenges a lot of assumptions about what's possible later in life.
I agree. It really is a testament to the power of embracing those new challenges, pursuing our passions, and connecting with others no matter how old we are.
Mm.
But now it's time to kind of shift gears and
Yeah.
turn the focus back to you, our listener.
Right.
Imagine for a moment that you're starting your own YouTube channel. What would you bring to the table? What stories are you just burning to share with the world? What are you passionate about?
Yeah, what knowledge, what skills could you offer
Yeah.
that might benefit others? What audience are you trying to connect with, inspire?
Yeah. Would it be a channel about your hobbies, your professional expertise, your travel adventures, or maybe something totally unexpected?
Right. What challenges do you think you would face along the way?
Yeah. Would it be those technical aspects of creating videos, that time commitment involved, or maybe even the vulnerability of putting yourself out there online?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, every successful YouTuber had to start somewhere, and the beauty of this platform is that it really welcomes everyone, regardless of your age, your background, or your experience level.
Right. The key is to take that first step, embrace the learning process, and really just find joy in that creative journey.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll be featuring your story on the deep dive,
Yeah.
inspiring tons of other people to pursue their own dreams. But even if you never end up on our show, the act of creating and sharing your own story can be incredibly rewarding, I think.
It can. It's about pushing your own boundaries, connecting with others, and making a positive contribution one video at a time.
So if you're feeling inspired by Raina's story and want to learn more about her and her journey, we highly recommend checking out her channel, Small Retired Life. You can find the link for that in our show notes. And until our next deep dive, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep sharing your voice